Here we have an article on Jalopnik. EV owners drive half as many miles as other drivers. It's a very weird study because here you have the news coming out now, but the study was actually performed during the time period 2014 and 2017. Oh. And so immediately I'm reading this thing and I'm saying, well, first of all, the data is way out of date here. And if you try to think of an EV in 2014, it probably had trash for range. So it would make sense you would drive it less. There's no road trips in there. But it was interesting to me because I started thinking, I've got the EV myself and I don't drive it that much, right?
No.
I have other cars.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many people with EVs are like that, particularly around the premium EV segment who are still using a gas car for longer trips.
And the EV is more of like a collectible kind of thing?
I don't know. It's in my case, it's a performance thing. I was attracted to the Taycan because of the performance aspect and sort of actually more as an entertainment car as opposed to my everyday car because I'm always lugging things and people and stuff like that. Now, I know there's obviously tons of people who are using, and the other thing about the data that's kind of screwy is that they were tracking at-home power consumption for people who owned EVs to be able to then extract from the power consumption data how much a recharge was happening, which would then imply how many miles were traveled or kilometers. But also in the case of Tesla, a lot of people who would have taken a road trip would have been using the supercharger network.
Right.
And that wouldn't have shown up in the data either. So the question then just becomes whether or not this is range anxiety, whether or not it's real if we were to get current data, whether there is still range anxiety that exists, or whether or not EVs remain mostly in the premium segment for buyers who do have other vehicles that they utilize when they're putting on those more miles. As far as the study's concerned, they were between 2014 and 2017, they analyzed 362,000 households, 57,290 EVs, and they estimate that 85% of EV charging occurs at home. So they're leaving open 15% for that other supercharger network. And the eventual conclusion was that EVs travel 5,300 miles per year, which is under half of the US fleet average. Again, between 2014 and 2017, keep that in mind, because range has improved at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
Recently. And I will say with the Taycan Turbo S that I have, which is not a range champion by any means, my brain owning other gasoline vehicles, my brain does still say, I got to go out where? I got to go out there? Okay, I'll just take the truck.
Right.
It does happen. I'm looking at the charge. It's a different, in a way, I feel it might be easier to do the full transition and completely reprogram yourself to the EV lifestyle and not even have the gas-powered vehicles available.
I see.
Now, like cold turkey.
Yeah.
Because
just break the chain.
Not only do I have gas-powered vehicles, but I have gas-powered vehicles with enormous gas tanks. Like the truck can do close to 1,000 kilometers on a tank.
Yeah.
So you're not even at the gas. Like you're used to being. Now, granted, Tesla was talking about that new Plaid Plus model, which caught my attention. What were they saying on the range? They were saying some staggering figures, close to what my gas-powered vehicles are capable of. And they have the more laid-out supercharger network comparative to a lot of the other more recent models. 520-mile Plaid. That's the Plaid. The Plaid Plus, I think, went to 600-something.
Is it?
I believe so. Yeah, you got to order it. You got to mock order it. Actually, for those that didn't see the video, I did a video ordering this thing up. 520 plus miles of range estimate. Okay, what about the Plaid model? Let me just see that again. Oh, the Plaid model is 390. Okay. I mean, it's still either one is better than the Taycan, but you see that huge improvement on the Plaid Plus. It's likely featuring their new battery technology, which is likely the reason it's delayed quite a bit further out than the Plaid model. So, but what is if you convert the 520 miles to kilometers, what do we get? Because then I can compare it more quickly. By the way, this show takes place in Canada, and the metric system exists here. For those that are in the U.S. that are like, what is this kilometer thing he's talking about? 800, like, that's no joke. If they deliver that, that's my truck.
Yeah. That's
If
pretty insane.
that Plaid Plus does that range, that's my truck. And that's a game changer.
Yeah. Are you ever worried about cold weather?
They do factor that in.
Yeah.
You're going to see a slight diminishment for the cold weather driving.
But are you worried about it?
No, because it's not significant enough. I mean, if you're dealing with that much range to start, I don't know what they said to cold weather.
That was like 80, 85%.
Yeah, that's still fine.
Yeah.
It's a lot of... Do you know the range on your car?
No.
Really? You don't know how many
I don't.
kilometers you get per tank?
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's probably
Maybe-
fairly fuel efficient, but I don't think the
It's a
tank
light
is...
car.
But I don't think the tank is huge either.
No. No.
Maybe you
50
might
gallons,
get
maybe?
600 kilometers? 500? 500, 600?
I would say less.
Oh, really?
Driving back and forth here, yeah, it's probably less. Maybe 500.
500 kilometers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing? We're tracking Willie Doo's commute over here.
It's a long commute.
We'll see how this goes into the future. It doesn't seem to matter that much because it's obvious at this point that the EV thing is happening. All the major automakers making huge commitments. Jaguar, I believe, today said that the entire fleet's going to be electric by 2025. There's many of these claims coming out. So it's going here regardless, but it was a curious headline nonetheless.